So the goal this time around is to create a new component, maybe call it form tag, that actually replaces this in login.view. So this line right here, and this line right here, the closing form tag, and it replaces the mounted function. That way, anytime I want to use a form, I don't have to put all the JavaScript validation in. I can just put a little simple component tag in. Let's get started with that. So I'll put mine inside the forms folder, inside the components folder, inside the source folder. And I'm going to call mine form tag.view. Okay? And we'll have a template, obviously. So we'll need a form tag. And I think I forgot this the last time around when I hard coded it, but it doesn't matter. Autocomplete equals off. Okay? And we'll have a method, but I'll bind that to a property. Because in some cases, as in our case, we're not going to use method. So method is equal to method. And we'll have an action. And again, we might not use that in our case, but there are cases where you're going to want to use it. So action will be equal to action. Class will be equal to, and I'm always going to want needs validation. And I'm always going to want no validate. So that'll be the opening part of my form tag. And then I'll have the closing form tag. Okay? And then I'll need the script. So we'll put in a script. And I'll give it a name. Say name is form tag. And props. As you can see, the properties I specified were method and action. And you might want to add more. You might want to make autocomplete, for example, something you can turn on or off at will. But I'll leave it like this for now, just to keep it simple. And then we want our mounted lifecycle function. Now, I'll just go copy that from text input over here, or in login.view over here. I'll copy the entire JavaScript, all of this, and go back to form tag and paste it in. Okay? So now, apparently, we have a form tag. Let's see if it works. So let's go back over to login.view. And let's import form tag. So import form tag from /forms form tag .view. So I have it there, and I'll use this component, and I'll call that, of course, form tag right there. So now I'll come up here, and I'll get rid of this opening form tag right here, and I'll just put in form-tag. Okay? And then I'll change the closing thing to form-tag. And let's see if that works. Okay? So it looks like it's right. We have our opening form tag. Then we have all of this content nested within it. And then we have our closing form tag. Let's make sure our NPM server is running. It is. And switch over to our web browser. And it appears to be empty. Unfortunately, this is really easy to fix. What I can do is go back to my code, go back to formtag.view, and in between the opening and closing tags for form, I just put this, slot. This is part of the W3C standards. It's an emerging or a new standard. The slot tag allows me to specify a place in this form tag or in any tag where I want some undetermined content to show up. So I've made that change. Now if I go back to my web browser, there is my login form. Let's make sure the validation works. It does. Perfect. So that will become very useful for us as time goes on. And if we actually inspect this HTML, so I'll inspect the HTML and find the form tag, which is right here. We have form class needs validation, was validated, was added automatically by our Bootstrap validation. Autocomplete is off, and no validate. And we have nothing else in there. And in fact, we don't want anything else in there because we're not going to be submitting a form and doing a server round trip. All of our form submissions will happen in the background with asynchronous JavaScript calls. Okay, that's enough for this time around. Let's move on.